Welcome back to Hardheaded Podcast. I'm your host, Chet Sears. This is Troy Three-Shot Trussell. To my left and to my right is Matt Amos, who is wrong most of the time.
Never.
That he disagrees with me. Welcome. We got a great show for you today. Troy's going to tell us what's on his mind. A top three I'm pretty excited about. Top three oversold but undelivered items.
Underdelivered.
Undelivered.
Yeah.
You're right. 50% of the time.
I'm right every time.
Oversold but underdelivered. All right, Troy, what you got on your mind?
That's a great movie. Yeah, so as all of you know, and all our listeners probably know, I have little kids, and so I'm very mindful of what they are doing, what they are watching, stuff that they're consuming, stuff they're listening to, watching on TV. We even got rid of YouTube on their TV just because it's just too easy to get to certain things. I am proud of Disney. That's crazy to say.
I thought you wrote them off.
I'm proud of them for one thing that they've done recently, and that's put a code on certain accounts on Disney Plus, right? So, because they did this, you can limit their content, right? You can limit their content, but they did this when they released like all the Marvel TV series, like Daredevil, and they put what's Deadpool on Disney Plus. Once they started putting all those very mature audience type violent movies, they put it to where you could do a code, right?
Yeah.
So that's nice. I'm proud of Disney.
What does that
for doing
limit? Like rated R movies, or does it limit like?
Well, it limits them from logging into an account, like a mom or dad account, where that stuff's just unlocked. It's a parent account, right?
Yeah, but do they have kid shows that are like transgender? You need to change your gender on kids' TV shows.
Not blatant, just yet.
Okay. I heard they have a new show coming out about the Antichrist.
I'm going to get to that, Chet.
Oh, okay.
In just a few moments.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm concerned.
Did you know this, Matt?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm concerned with at all times, like what my kids are consuming. We've got like chat turned off on the video games. Like I don't want them talking to anybody, Yeah, very careful. So when I'm riding in the car the other day, we were on a long trip for Labor Day a couple weeks ago and went to the lake. So we had time to talk, and the wife brings up this new TV show that's already out. But it is, and I'll just read a little bit about what it's about.
The description?
Yeah. The show is called Little Demon, and it's about Satan's teen daughter. Okay, so 13 years after being impregnated by Satan, a reluctant mother, Laura, and her Antichrist daughter, Chrissy, attempt to live an ordinary life in Delaware, but are constantly thwarted by monstrous forces, including Satan, who yearns for custody of his daughter's soul. So, yeah, there it is.
Sounds like some wholesome entertainment.
They're not trying to hide this stuff anymore. It's just
right
out in the open.
Yeah.
And there was an interview with the girl that does the voice of the 13-year-old, and she was excited because they're now like, she called it paganism.
Yeah.
She's like, we're openly celebrating paganism.
Yeah.
Is I believe what she was quoted
instead
saying.
of covertly supporting
paganism, right
is,
there,
like Halloween,
right,
Christmas,
Easter,
right, all the Christian holidays.
They were all pagan holidays before the Reformation.
Yeah, exactly. So what's been on my mind is protecting my kids from this.
Yeah.
When they can't handle it, right? You know, of course I don't want to shelter my kids forever. They need to be in the world, hopefully not of it, but they need to know the dangers
Be aware.
And be aware of the dangers when they have the maturity to handle it.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, the maturity to know I'm not going to open up a show that's called, what is it, Satan, whatever.
Little Demon.
Yeah. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
I'm 40 some odd years old. I'm not going to go fill my mind with that crap. And there's arguably some other stuff that I fill my mind with that's stupid and I shouldn't do it, like Hugh Jackman movies or something, but
Or watching a boat ramp for hours
dude,
upon hours.
that is wholesome entertainment.
Yeah, that's
But
good entertainment.
You're laughing at other people for their failures, and I just don't think that's very Christ-like. But go ahead, Troy.
Good, I see your point.
I'm with you, man.
Point taken.
The day and age of you give your kid a device, access to the internet, and you're giving them a loaded gun.
Yeah.
And you
For
don't.
sure.
I teach all my kids how to handle weapons, but I don't let them walk around with loaded guns until they are competent and have the skills and demonstrate that. But there's a lot of parents that are giving those digital guns to kids and just letting them determine their own future.
Yeah. They're babysitters for a lot of parents. And I mean, I'm guilty of it too. Like, hey, let's go watch a movie just so we can just let me breathe for a minute. Right.
Yeah.
But I'm not just going to hand my, 5-year-old a phone and say, here, go to town,
Yeah.
which that happens.
Well,
And
it's tough. And even when you do, you set limits on them, like you're talking about, where they can't watch certain content. But then at the other side of things is like what we've done with our kids is we're your phones park in our room. Like we have a docking station in our room.
yeah.
And depending upon the stage of life that kid's in and who their friends are and whatever else determines the frequency which we'll do this. And sometimes it's nightly, sometimes that backs off, but we log into their phones and look at all their history and what all their text messages, which are the snaps and all that, all the stuff that's going on. We find out what all that's about and what they're doing, and have been able to guide our kids through some avoiding some issues and kind of being aware of some issues that we didn't know about just by some of the people that they talk to. And man, I tell you, junior high, oh my gosh, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to do what you can to protect your kids. And some of that would be no more Disney. Or
Definitely wouldn't be that.
Well, Disney, they put out that new movie Lightyear a month ago or whatever.
you're not even interested.
Failed horribly.
Yeah, I'm not
Did
interested either. But, of course, all the kids want to watch it. So they watched it, and I think my 8-year-old said, yeah, Dad, there was an inappropriate scene in it. And I was like, oh, okay. What was that?
Yeah.
And it was like a lesbian couple got married or something.
Yeah.
They kiss on screen or something, I think is what it is. I haven't watched it myself. And I was like, oh, yeah, well,
Right.
So, I mean,
It's everywhere.
Yeah, it's everywhere. And so we're going to have to, as Christian, we're just going to have to face these different challenges as they grow up.
Yeah.
And so,
even not as Christians. I mean, I think
even
some people
as,
that don't follow Jesus are still like, my gosh, this is so much.
why is this in my face?
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd agree with that. But in saying that, it's not the people who we're fighting against, and I never want anybody to think like that I'm against them or whatever. And so I always remind myself of Ephesians 6:12, which is, for we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, the cosmic powers over this present darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly places. So we're not fighting against other people. It does come down to that on a human earthly level. Sometimes we have to get in arguments and protect and fight for our kids and stuff, but the powers behind those people are what we're fighting, not the actual people.
Yeah.
So it makes it easier to deal with in my mind.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's a long battle, right? It's not a short one. It's not like, oh, we're going to get that show pulled from the air and everything's going to be okay.
Yeah, and that's not going to happen. So that's not even a battle that I'm willing to fight. I'm not even on the side of, let's never do anything with Disney ever again. I'm not a huge grab my pitchfork and
picket signs.
Picket signs. Yeah. I am not advocating for that at all. And I wouldn't even volunteer in that. I think there's other ways to fight it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just being aware is a huge step. Just being aware of what's out there and what to keep your kids away from, and having those hard talks right behind in your house.
Yeah.
Like making it a point to have those talks.
Oh, and sometimes they don't go over well.
Yeah. And
when you have teenagers.
And they probably
Most
won't.
talks don't go over well when you have teenagers. It doesn't matter what it's about.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'll probably just reach out to you two since your all's kids are a lot older. Hey, how do I handle this? Maybe we can talk about it on the podcast and help other people.
Yeah. We could.
Yep. So that's just what's been on my mind lately. When I heard her read just what that show's about, I'm like, good grief. Just another. Yeah, I don't know if maybe it's good it's so blatant because I'm like, oh, okay, let's definitely not do that one.
Yeah.
Whereas in Lightyear, I mean, it's not anything demonic or anything. It's just a couple. And I really didn't want to have to explain why they were doing that to an 8-year-old.
Right.
But here it is, and
You haven't had a conversation with your 8-year-old on what gender they want to be?
Absolutely
it's
not.
Too late. You can take them to all kinds of hospitals right now.
They'll do hey, guess what?
Surgery.
He's got a penis. He's a boy. There you go.
I'm sorry.
Is that how he feels, though?
Yeah.
That's how he feels.
I'll tell you what. All right. Thank you, Troy. We're going to take a commercial break, and when we get back, we're going to talk about our top 3 oversold but under-delivered items, things, stuff. Come on back.
At Admiral's Pennant, our mission is to offer the latest and refined, high-quality masculine products and services to the modern gentleman, as well as provide him with the tools and products necessary to look, act, and feel confident in his appearance and social interactions. Check it out at admiralspennant.com. Without it, you might as well shave.
All right, we're back. Top
Kick
3.
it! Sorry, I just
And the reaction.
I forget.
Put you in front of a microphone.
That's right.
Top 3 oversold but under-delivered items, which I'm going to tell you right now, you can't oversell a Dots pretzel. If you've never had one, you should try one.
I've had a Dots pretzel, but not just
the original seasoning
flavor.
We know you're chewing. You don't have to chew into the microphone. Matt will go into a murderous rage.
Yep.
If he hears you chewing.
Yeah, definitely under-delivered there.
No, they're good.
They're good, but they're not as good as you just led me up to believe here within the last 5 seconds.
As far as pretzels go, these are like the best. I'm not a huge pretzel.
Is a fantastic pretzel.
You like it, don't you?
You can just taste the butter after you get through the crunch, and there's still stuff in your mouth. Your mouth is overwhelmed with butter.
The seasoning is good too.
Well, the seasoning hits you first. It's a little salt. I taste a little hint of garlic, possibly.
It's a little like Gardettos for me.
Mm. I had some Dots seasoned pork rinds the other day.
There it is. Buttermilk, dried garlic.
Wasn't as good as I thought it would be. Matt, what's your number 3 on your top 3 oversold but under delivered?
So this is kind of almost a category. It's 3 things all kind of wrapped into one.
That's your planet. We're just here living on it, breathing your air. Pass the pretzels.
Number 3 things that were oversold but underdelivered: Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, and Harry Potter. All wrapped into one. Anything Troy's ever recommended.
No. No, you cannot say they under-delivered if you haven't watched it.
I
deny it.
Nope, I've tried to watch them,
No.
and I can't even get through the first 10 minutes under-delivered because it's not impressive at all.
You can get through it.
I can't.
You can get through it.
Nope.
I
don't have the patience to sit there. And
If you
just
got
watch
through
that.
all the Fast and Furious movies, you can
I have
get
not
through
gotten through all the
these.
Fast and the Furious movies.
Well, that's news. That's news.
Because he doesn't have enough time.
That's
because there's
fake
like
news.
1,700 of them.
I think there's 9, and I've seen 3, and parts of a few others. And then I was like, I'm not going to watch this. I saw the one part where that guy, and I've mentioned it before, where he
Flew a Mustang into an
he
airplane.
shoots the grappling hook across, and then
I'm gonna eat my pretzels like this
whatever.
until he watches Lord of the Rings.
That's it.
maybe the last time you put anything into your mouth ever.
I'm chewing with my mouth
Before it's
open from here on out.
Permanently wired shut. Number 2, the Furminator. So this thing was billed as the greatest,
Oh yeah,
I've never even heard of it.
the greatest dog brush
yeah.
for getting the excess fur off your dogs.
Oh, it's like the vacuum cleaner with the buzz
Nope.
cut?
No, that'd be the Floby.
Yeah,
You remember that bad boy?
that might actually work better
Yeah.
than this thing, because you get one scrape across the dog, and then you got to go, and that doesn't all come out, and keep going. Then you got to use your hand. And you're like, okay, one more. And strangely enough, I saw this dog brush advertised on, I don't know.
Was it late night infomercial? Because that's almost a guarantee that it's not going to work.
Nope.
Was it on FX in between episodes of Little Demon?
No. Although I could see them selling something like this. But I found another one, because I've gone through so many dog brushes trying to figure out one for my dogs that is going to get the fur off, but I don't have to continually try to comb out or pull on anything, because I just want to get done fast. And there was one advertised, I don't even know what it's called, but it was like $25, and it was on like I was watching some videos on Facebook or something like that, and it popped up, and I started watching. I was like, oh, I wonder if that'll work. This would be the 50th one I've bought of a type of dog brush. And so I bought this one, and it showed up, and it was just almost like shaped like a Furminator, but just had like this thing that almost looked like a plow with, and so I just started doing that. I have to clean the thing out once. $25 and best dog brush I've ever owned. So if I figure out what it's called, we can.
Yeah, I need one, so send it to me.
Yeah, we can link to it or something like that.
Your dog sheds?
No.
You don't need one.
Well, I need something to keep the dog from matting.
You just need to bathe it and brush it once a week.
This brush is it's actually called a dematting brush, but I was using it for the fur, and I mean, I had I probably could have woven several blankets out of what I got off the dogs. And then number 1, we're going to throw it back to the 80s. I'm a kid. I'm watching some cartoons, and I'm seeing this product advertised. And
Chia?
I'm like, nope.
Cereal.
Nope. And I'm like, I've got to have that.
G.I.
Joe?
Nope. I've got to have it. And I begged and begged and begged and begged and begged. And,
Light bright.
And nobody would get it for me. And then finally,
Operation.
Turn on the magic
nope,
and shine
they
all
broke
night.
down. And you could probably guess for
No, we can't guess. We've been guessing.
I know the entire show, and you'd never get it. And I don't even know if you'll know what it is.
Let's have it.
Burple.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it.
So it was this,
They only advertise that in the Great Plains area.
but it was this drink in this container that would expand and collapse. And
According to what? The barometric pressure?
no, it was
Can't even
it was
say that.
shaped like an accordion, where you could expand it and
Then it makes burping noises?
no, it's a drink. That's all it is just a drink in a stupid bottle that can collapse down. And I was so excited to get it, and then I
This is
tasted.
very undelivered.
Oh, it was so undelivered.
While you were young and watching TV in your city house, I was probably out mowing grass and milking chickens or whatever.
No, this was like Saturday morning cartoons, and you had to have it. And I got it, and I was so excited because I figured it'd be like
they had it at Kmart or something?
yeah,
Yeah?
like I figured it would be like what are those ones that like the Squeeze It?
Capri Sun?
No,
High C?
not the high C, but you know what I'm talking about? The little squeeze it, the little twist off cap.
Oh, yeah.
I know what you're talking
I don't
about.
remember what they were
So
called.
I thought it was going to be like that, and I was like, okay, it's going to be that kind
Twisters?
of flavor.
Were they Twisters?
I think Squeeze It
Squeeze
is the name.
It's the name.
Oh.
But
Yeah.
so, because I was trying to find the name of this, because that's the most undersold thing I've ever had in my life.
You were
And so
let down?
I was so let down because
Oversold. You said undersold.
Yeah.
Oversold.
way
undelivered.
way
Yeah.
underdelivered.
Under-delivered.
Yeah.
And but I took the first drink of that thing, and it almost made me want to throw up. Like it was disgusting. And my mom's like, "You're gonna finish that?" I'm like, I can't finish. It's disgusting. And she goes, "You've been asking for this for months, and it costs this much. You're gonna drink it." And like it's one of those things where, you know, like you drink something and you immediately get a headache, or you know, you eat a certain food and it triggers a headache. I don't know if you guys have that
No.
phenomenon, but I do. And it was just one of those things. Like I drank it, immediately I was just like, I feel sick. That's how bad it was.
Yeah. Did you finish it?
No, but the commercial,
So you disobeyed your mom.
I did. I think I squirted it out somewhere else, but the commercials made that thing look so awesome, and I just had to have it. And I was like, man, this is gonna be so good when I get it. And it was horrible.
False advertising.
Horrible.
Trash.
That's why they're not around.
Yep.
And that made the same list as Lord of the Rings.
How do you feel about that? Because I feel almost as passionately about Burple as I do about your recommendations for Star Wars.
You know
Lord of the
what?
Rings,
That
Harry
makes
Potter.
me want to try Burple because it's probably not that bad.
It's probably pretty good.
You'll probably love it.
It's probably the best drink that you could
Yeah,
ever have.
That's right.
Oh, man.
That's hilarious. All right. I'll go next. I have an honorable mention. We'll get to later. Number 3, having a company cell phone. I remember back when cell phones came out, I'm that old, and to have a job where the company would provide your cell phone for you.
That was big time.
Like, yeah, that sucks. It's not that cool. It's totally.
They want you to answer that
Yeah.
thing 24 hours a day.
Yeah, when it rings at like 2 a.m., it's not good to have a company cell phone.
Yeah.
And my first company cell phone was one of those Nextel devices that had the radio.
Radio.
Yeah, and for some
Oh,
reason,
yeah.
people, you know, I wouldn't call somebody at 2 a.m., but I would radio them. Yeah, it's horrible.
I had a buddy who had one of those.
But everybody, you're like, oh, if I get this job, they provide a cell phone, you know, or you're walking around, oh, you got a cell phone there? Yeah, company
Company
provided.
phone.
Ooh, yeah, it sucks.
And then
Yeah.
Chet gets out his leather bag.
Yeah, I never had one of those. That was well before my time. Well, no, that was well before my
Job time.
the income of my family to be able to afford that back in the day. Number 2, Mays schools.
Oh, wow. All right.
Ouch.
That when we were shopping when we decided we're going to move to Wichita, it was Mays schools or Andover schools. Those were the 2 schools. And I did some research testing, and the testing's still really good. But everybody was saying Mays schools are the best schools in the state. If you look at Kansas, back then Kansas was top 20 in the nation. So you're like, oh, I'm going to be in the best district in a top 20 state. Yeah, that's going to be a pretty good school district. It was. But boy, did it not stay that way.
That's why we moved.
In the 15 years that we've lived in Kansas, we have seen, sadly, that whole district go downhill from clearly from administrative purposes. The good teachers have left, and the bad teachers get moved around so they could spread their badness at other places because they caused so many issues at wherever they were. But they don't get rid of them. That's a union discussion, but there was a lack of control, enough so that just about all the people that I've known that I've really enjoyed, they're fantastic, love my kids to be around them, they're all gone now, like all gone. So it has completely under-delivered up to the hype that it had when we moved out here.
You think overpopulation had anything to do with
Yeah.
that? No?
Nope.
You think it was all administrative?
Mostly, yeah.
Hmm.
Yep. And then you know, COVID comes around,
Oh, we were in May schools during COVID. It was
And
a freaking nightmare.
all the schools were nightmarish,
Well, yeah,
but the I think
Mine was not.
it wasn't just as bad as everybody else's. It was bad. It just was better.
It was better.
It was bad.
Way better.
Yeah, but it wasn't great. Like, but I'll tell you what really set me off was because we were talking in school board meetings about, hey, have you talked to Renwick School District? They're doing something different, and their experience. We're talking to parents that are there, Goddard, you name it, and the administrators were like, why would we talk to them? Like,
we're in the top 20.
No, they weren't anymore. But like, we're Mays. Why would And then I was like, well, if you're this bad and this arrogant, there's no fixing this. Like, it's a lost cause. So we have a new what do they call them?
Superintendent.
Yeah, new superintendent. She just started. High hopes. Give her the benefit of the doubt, but
Yeah, I mean, because you got
there's a reason our other one left. But there's so much house cleaning that needs to take place under that role between the superintendent and the classroom. There's a lot of stuff that needs to change there, and it better change quick for the sake of everybody else that's there, because we're 1/3 of the way done and just a couple of years from being 2/3 of the way done. So way under.
So what do you do with your third? Just leave her in there for?
Yeah, it's heck, I went to a public school in Louisiana, Troy. I mean, it's still better.
I know, yeah.
It's still better than a lot of the people in the country go to. But
yeah,
we're very cautious about, we'll get the scouting reports on teachers, and we stay in touch with the counselors. And when we get the schedule and we see something in there that's throwing up some red flags for us, we speak up and make some changes based on that. There's some fantastic teachers that we've had there. There's still some fantastic teachers that are there now. It's just a matter of making sure that you're guiding your kid through that whole process. If you go potluck, and if something goes wrong, I hope it's different now with this current superintendent. But the former one, if something went wrong, nothing's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, there's some bad things can happen to your kid in the classroom from another student or a teacher, and it would never be dealt with. So I hope that changes. But it was definitely under-delivered based on what we were sold when we moved out here.
yeah.
Number 1, Mater built homes. The
Is that who built your home, Chet?
the agent that we had said, "Oh my God," because when we settled on a house, "Oh my gosh, he's the best builder in Wichita. You're gonna love this home." Way oversold that. That dude didn't follow code. We had water flowing into our house every time it rained right when we moved in. And then the guy was fighting me.
And y'all were a new build.
It was a spec home that wasn't quite finished yet. So,
Right.
nobody else had lived there.
Right, yeah.
The closest I've come as an adult male to getting in a fist fight with somebody was that builder in my front yard, because he was lying to my face, and I called him out on it, and he got really mad, and I did not back down. But that was way oversold.
Pumping gas in Oregon, front yard. That's 2. Third time's a charm.
I was going to have to kill this guy. So there I was. I put away my gun.
I can't travel with a gun through airports.
Well, I was referencing another story that I've told you.
Oh. So anyway,
Yeah.
I would say them. I fixed all their crap, and I understand why he doesn't want to fix it or admit a problem, because he built 200 homes incorrectly, and he's on the hook for all that. But the dude, he sucks as a home builder, and you won't convince me otherwise, because I bought one of his homes and had to live through it and hear him weasel and snake his way past a whole bunch of stuff. But anyway, I have mad respect for Star Lumber, because they backed their product even though they knew it was not installed correctly. So
The
love
old,
those
That's
guys.
good.
Yep.
Yeah.
old quote unquote family business.
Yeah. All right, Troy.
All right. Number 3, proposed gun laws.
Yeah. They're going to underdeliver. They will.
They're always oversold, and if passed, they will underdeliver.
This is true.
100%. This is so much better than Matt's top 3.
Right. Agreed. Number 2, the COVID vaccine.
Oh,
that one stings a little bit for
It was so oversold.
for quote 70% of the population.
And so underdelivered.
dude. I was even I watched a video today on a report that the AstraZeneca is one of the vaccine manufacturers.
Yeah.
It is not recommended to give to a senior, anybody over 60 years old.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to talk about why'd you make a vaccine? To protect old people. And you want to under-deliver it? Oh, we can't give it to old people.
It's not good for them.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, that's horrible, man. Good.
That's a good one.
Dude.
That's a good way to look at the...
I mean, this may be a top 3 of all top 3s now. Don't screw it up. What's your number 1?
Dang it, that should have been number 1. Number 1 is the 3rd Star Wars trilogy.
Oh, you should have had that
Hey,
as
I'll
number 3.
agree. I'll agree.
I knew you would.
That's the best top 3 you've ever given, Troy.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
I'll say, yeah, I think I don't disagree with you. I kind of enjoy them, but it was a letdown. Like
I mean, the first one was okay until you realize, oh, that's a reboot of episode 4. And then the second one's terrible because the director hadn't even seen. He was like Matt. It was like if you're like, hey, make this movie about Star Wars. Well, I've never seen Star Wars. Well, just make a movie anyway.
Yeah.
That's kind of how The Last Jedi was. And then the third one, they tried to get J.J. Abrams back to fix what Numbnuts did, and there was no fixing it. It just splat.
Dude, that's well done.
Thank you.
Well done, Troy.
Thank you.
Well done. Don't you think well done?
I think that was well done.
That is right up the alley of overselling and under delivering.
I thought so.
And overselling just from a pure quantity standpoint. And I know we talked about this with the Disney movies. You know, there's so much stuff coming out from Disney right now that like people don't even care anymore.
Oh yeah.
Like there's just too much in the sphere of stuff.
There's too much stuff to consume. Like you can't even.
Like even my kids
pick
were all
something.
into Marvel, and then like I think of the Thor movie came out not too long, like 6 months ago. I don't know how.
Yeah.
Like they were like, yeah, I hadn't even seen it.
And
like,
Han-
you haven't? And they're like, no, I don't. I'm just done with all that. There's just too much.
Yeah. And Hannah took Noah to see it because he's 10, so he's loving all this new stuff.
Yeah.
And he thought it was hilarious, and because it was real quirky.
Yeah.
And she was like, "You're not gonna like it. Don't go see it." I went and saw it anyway, but she was right.
Yeah.
I mean, there were just some really dumb stuff in it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's how his comics used to be. I don't know.
Who knows?
Anyway, Disney screws up everything they touch.
Now they used to not. They used to be awesome.
Yeah. I don't know why I keep watching it, but I do.
Aladdin was pretty good.
It was terrible. The Will Smith live action version.
No, the first one, the only one.
Well, it's not the only one.
Well,
but
I've never heard of a Will Smith version.
yeah, he plays
There's a live action Aladdin.
where Will Smith is the genie.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I've never seen that.
It's dumb.
The only one I know is when Robin Williams was the genie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was really funny.
But even then, there was some controversy around there of subliminal messages and whatever. But
Yep.
even back in the day,
yeah.
Remember that?
that was it.
Yeah,
That was
I think
it.
we've even talked about this on the podcast
Did
before.
we?
Yeah, I
don't
think
know.
so.
We've been doing this for almost 2 years. I can't remember all this stuff.
Crazy.
That is. I'm amazed that you remember that because that's what I was thinking of, and I just couldn't think of what was supposedly said.
Like a breeze comes through and blows up some leaves or something, and it spells sex across the screen.
Spells sex in the cloud. The dust from the magic carpet, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe that's Lion King. I don't know.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, we're going to transition from that straight into a good word. Matt, what you got for us?
Today's good word is quite fitting.
Excellent.
That's 2 words.
Watch out.
That's 2 words too.
But that's the good word, is watch out.
All right.
Because you don't say good words. You say good word.
Yeah.
It's a good word. And then you say, this is the good word.
It could be it could be a good phrase.
It's more than a single
Right. Correct.
Like book.
solitary word. But today's good word comes out of 2 Corinthians 11, 3 through 4. I'm afraid that as the serpent deceived Eve by his cunning, your thoughts will be led astray by a sincere and pure devotion to Christ. For if someone comes and proclaims another Jesus than the one we have proclaimed, or if you receive a different spirit from the one you received, or if you accept a different gospel from the one you accepted, you put up with it readily enough. And so, kind of talking about the great deceiver, and I've had a lot of discussions about that recently, just about the church, and whenever I hear progressive Christianity, meaning it's different than yesterday's Christianity, we're more accepting and we're more, we're gonna start accepting the kind of the lifestyles or
the current cultural worldview
more,
is accepted into all levels of the church, including leadership.
Yeah. And I mean, and that's where and I've had this talk with my kids, and that's where the water gets really muddy, and difficult to explain because it gets clouded by deception. It's like, hey, I don't accept, I love that person, but I don't have to accept that behavior. And I don't care if that, and that's what Chet and I were talking about this earlier. It's not that I am against one person or another. I'm against that action. So I don't accept, somebody being a drunk. I don't accept somebody, being a drug addict. And sin is sin, whether it's drugs, alcohol, whether you're in a heterosexual relationship, having sex outside of marriage, fornication, or a homosexual relationship outside of marriage or inside of marriage for that matter. It's God lays it all out in his book, and people have taken the word and they've perverted it to mean whatever they want it to mean to fit their truth. And it's not their truth or my truth that we're trying to live. It's God's truth. And so it's all written out right there, but people, and that's what it talks about in their devotion is, the great deceiver comes in and he deceives people that way. And so you need to be on the lookout for it and be very cautious about, what you're willing to accept and look at things and make sure, look at it through the lens of the Bible, not at the lens of society. And so that's what today's good word kind of meant to me, was looking at that and saying, be aware and watch out for those things, because God's word is true. It hasn't changed. And, and my kids said the same thing. It's like, well, the Bible's been around for 2,000 years and it's written, and it's changed over time and this and that, and I'm like, no, it hasn't. I go, that's what society wants to tell you.
Yeah,
I said, but
culture wants you to believe.
Yeah, but I was like, if God's word could be changed, then he wouldn't be a God worthy of serving, because if we can change his word, then nothing matters. I go, so I have the faith that his word has remained the same and will not change and stays true. And all of us need to look through that lens, not the lens of society where, oh, it's cool now to be, I want to be an alcoholic, or I just want to stay at home and get paid from the government. Well, that's not what the Bible teaches. It says a man works, and I can't remember the scripture, Chet, you probably know, but it talks about working and earning your pay, earning your living, earning your food. So don't be deceived. Watch out for those deceptions.
And right on it, and going back to Genesis, which this references, the scripture you read references, the deception, the deceiver is not like a total, everything that you've heard is wrong. God doesn't exist. This is the Bible doesn't say any, it's not, you don't even read it. The deceiver comes in and says,
oh yeah, that's
I know
partially right.
I know what you're reading there, but I don't think you know what that actually means. And if you go back to the garden account, when the serpent approached Eve, he said to her, the serpent said, "Did God really say you must not eat from any tree in the garden?" And the woman's like, "No, we may eat, fruit from the trees in the garden, but God did say you can't eat fruit from this tree, the one that's in the middle. And then because if we were to touch it, we will die."
And she added that because God didn't even say that they would die.
And the deceiver, "You'll not die. For God knows that when you eat from it, that your eyes will be open and you'll be like God, knowing good and evil." So he's just like, hey, yeah, I'm not going to say that my approach isn't, oh, God doesn't exist, or, aren't you really hungry? Doesn't this tree look good? It's like, hey, he didn't say that.
Come on, man.
He didn't. The reason he doesn't want you to do that is because you'll be like him,
He's trying to keep you away from the good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's with with today. I mean, it's really easy to say, that's not what it means.
That's not really what it means, and I hear it all the time.
We're supposed to love everybody. Yes, we are, but loving doesn't mean accepting, just like you were talking about, right?
And I'm telling you, that's such a difficult conversation to have because nobody can separate those two.
Love and acceptance,
yeah. Because if you do not agree with somebody, you're considered a bigot or racist or whatever. You're labeled the exact opposite. And I've got a whole what's on your mind about that coming up.
All right, I look forward to that.
Yes.
So anyway,
thanks. Before we get out of here, any honorable mentions? Troy, you don't need any. I mean, you nailed it.
Nailed it.
I really don't think I have anything to add because that pretty much was the hammer.
I've got one. Notre Dame football.
Rudy.
Preseason. The preseason polls always have them ranked like preseason top 20, top 10, and they finish the season sucking every year. And it's because they have a contract with NBC and they get to sell, the viewership and all that is going to be more tuning into a really good team. When they're not a really good team, they are always oversold and they always underdeliver. And the next one in that same realm, the Pac-12 in general, is always oversold and underdelivered from a football perspective.
Yeah. Georgia
took Oregon to the woodshed opening weekend of football a couple weeks ago. Did you guys hadn't been keeping up with anything? You're too busy, I guess.
Yeah, I don't keep up with any of it.
49-3. And Oregon was ranked. I think they were a top 10 team.
Not anymore, they're not.
Oh, they probably are.
It's only one game.
Oh, whatever.
Anyway, all right. Thanks, Matt, for that good word. Troy, again, if we had trophies, man, you'd be getting a big, tall one.
I'll just make one myself like Matt does.
There you go.
Yeah.
We'll catch you next week.
Thanks for listening to the Hardheaded Podcast. Don't forget to share this podcast with others to help us get the word out.
Also, if you haven't yet, please rate and review the show. This helps our podcast show up in other people's suggested shows that may or may not have listened to us before.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.